Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to us by one of our dear brother through Facebook, and it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I am a South African man, and my story, it reads like this. I want to tell you the truth about a Sandawana, and I do not want any of my people to ever use charms or to go to a Sangoma. If a Sangoma tells you that they are using a Sandawana in their shrine, when you consult with them, you should run away from that shrine, because a Sandawana, it is something that is very dangerous. You are going to regret for the rest of your life, like the way that I am regretting. The man that assisted me is nowhere to be found, and I hope that other South Africans are going to direct me somewhere where I can be able to get real help. So please pay attention as you are listening to my story, because my story, it is like this. So when I went to a Sangoma, it was because of some particular issues that I had been experiencing in my life, and there was no way out, because at work there were people that wanted to get me fired. I had been working in a high level government department. I'll change provinces and say that I was working in Gauteng, but I was the only Tsonga man that was working in that part of the department. So the most people that were working in that department, they came from one majority tribe, and they did not like me. They formed a group against me. When I would have arrived at work, if there were people already at the offices, then people would stop talking as if they were talking about me. And if I would be in my office, then the people would continue talking, discussing about the issues that they would have been talking about. If we had a meeting, you could see that there is no one that even respect your opinion. It was as if you were not even there. They would whisper behind my back, and I caught several women in the department that would deliberately sabotage some of my efforts. Some of the things that I would do, they would deliberately sabotage me for no particular reason at all. And I could not understand why these people that I was working with, that I had been working with for a very long time, were sabotaging me in such a painful way. So then that was when I discovered that there was one who actually corrupted my other files of this other spreadsheet that I had done. It was something that was very important that had taken me almost a week. So there was no backup. They made me to feel like I was an immigrant in my own country. So at work, you are having problems at home, and you expect that when you are at work, at least you forget about other things that will be happening inside of your home. Then you see that even at work, there are people that are stressing you even more. There is a level where you will end up snapping, and that is exactly that happened to me, because I kept on trying to ignore what these people had been doing to me, and they kept on pushing and pushing, making me to look like I was the one that was against the other people that I was working with, because I was stronger and they were not from my tribe. So eventually, as a normal human being, one day I snapped. I fought a colleague with my bare hands in the office. Then the disciplinary hearing, it was coming, and everyone knew that I was going to be fired, because when two people fight, there are always two sides of the story, but people can manipulate you so that you are the one that starts the fight. That is the thing that happened. These people had been manipulating the situation, making me to feel bad all the time. So when I finally cracked, when I started to fight with that man, even on the CCTV, you could see that I was the one that started the fight, but that was not what happened. This was like a developing story that had been happening over the years, and I was trying to remain calm. So everyone at work actually celebrated. The more that I fought with that guy, they did not even attempt to fight me. That was when I realized that this is a trap. They have trapped me. I have beaten up this guy. And everyone was celebrating because I was going to get fired. I was desperate. I was the breadwinner. Me and my wife, we had been experiencing some marital issues because of the situation that I was facing at home. I could not face the shame of being fired, and your wife, she has a great job and she has been thinking about divorce. I did not know what else to do. Eventually I sat down with my wife. She actually surprised me because I thought that my wife, she was going to leave me after I would have told her what was happening at work. But to my surprise, my wife told me that she was going to stand with me no matter what was going to happen. So me and my wife, this meant that we were going to be together in this, and we were going to work together no matter what was going to come my way. So then my wife, as someone that was always going around looking for help, if she could hear about someone that was a good traditional healer, my wife, she would go to that person and try to hear about that person if we could get real help from that person. So then my wife, one day, she told me that she was walking downtown to go and see the woman at this other saloon. And when she was walking down, that was when a Malawian man handed her a pamphlet. And this pamphlet, she just put it in her pocket. She just did not want to look like a rude person. She remembered about that pamphlet when she was back home, and she called the child and said, "Can you go and grab my handbag?" And then she showed me those pamphlets that the Sangomas give to people in the street. So I read it, and the majority of it was talking about money rituals and solving work problems. I then told that I was going to contact the guy, but I was not sure. She also said that there were scammers. So what I did not tell her was that I saw this as something that could give me hope. I took that paper and I called the number in secret. The Malawian Sangoma told me to meet him up in Midrand. He did not even look like a traditional healer. He was just like a normal guy. And he told me that the people at work, they just did not know witchcraft, but the way that they hated me for the person that I was, they could even get me killed if they knew how to do witchcraft. But what we were supposed to do, we were supposed to act fast. He told me that as a man, when you are in a battlefield, you are supposed to use whatever ammunition that you can find so that you can destroy your enemies. So then I thought of it for a very long time, and then that was when I agreed, and I said, okay, it's fine. If you say that these people, we can destroy them, then let it be. What is it that you would want me to do so that these people can be destroyed? So then he told me that in order for these people to be destroyed, what was supposed to happen was that he would speak with his Sandawana. I had heard about Sandawanas before, but I had never seen one. I actually did not see it because it was inside of a clay pot, and he told me that the Sandawana was inside. He then brought out a small bottle that was full of oil, which he said that this oil that I was looking at, it was the oil like pee from the Sandawana, but it becomes oil, and I was supposed to bath with it at his shrine. So he then gave me a bucket. It was red in color, I still remember, with warm water, and he told me to speak these words. He said, I want you to speak these words, and I want those people to see a lion from now on. When they look at you, they do not see a weak man, but they see a lion. When a lion is around people, everyone would be afraid of that lion. That is what I want to happen for you at your workplace. There is no one that is going to say anything about you. Brother Nashi, it was like magic. When I returned back to work around about 2009, the investigation, it turned 180 degrees, and they said that I was a victim of tribalism, and the people who sabotaged me, who had been sabotaging me at work, they were forced to apologize to me, and they apologized to me in front of everyone. So by 2009, I became their boss. I was not just safe at work. They even had some written warnings about the things that they had been doing to me. I was promoted. Me and my wife, we started to live a better life. We moved into a bigger house. We bought a nice German car, an SUV, and I said that I have finally won. So it was in 2012. I had even forgotten about that Malawian man. That is why I am saying that I don't know where to find this Malawian man, because it has been a long time. I did not care much about it after I had discovered that the charms, they had worked really nice, and now I was having a good job, and I had been promoted, and I was staying in a nice house. So there was no need for me to return back to that Sangoma. In 2012, we went back to Tsanin. It was for the holidays, like a normal family. We were happy, but whilst we were there, my firstborn, he was walking around 5 to 6 p.m. He was walking in the street in the villages. So in our village, there are people that still have their cows. They go with their cows, then they will be at the grazing field, and they come back late in the evening. So when these cows were returning back, that was when one of the cow suddenly went mad. That is what we had, that my boy, he was just sitting with his other age mates. They were just sitting, and he was sitting with his back against the gravel road where the cows were coming from. So one of the cow went mad, and then it attacked my son, driving its horn on his back, but not that much. He did not die, but my boy, he was never the same. He was rushed to the hospital. He stayed in the hospital for a very long time, and then he was struggling for 2 years. There was a time when he was unable to speak. He passed away, my son. It was in 2014. When my son passed away, I did not even think that it was because of that Sandawana that was now demanding blood from me. It never crossed my mind. I did not even link the two, that the Sandawana is a Tokoloshi which lives on blood. I just thought that maybe it was just a normal accident. After that accident that had happened in the village, 3 months after we had buried my son, my daughter also had a problem. This was 3 months. You won't even believe it. 3 months after the burial of my son, my daughter, she was coming back from a trip with her friends. There was a freak accident that happened. The boy is still in prison right now. He's a man now. So he had been dating this other boy. They had a problem. And then that was when they started fighting. That boy then opened the door whilst the car was moving, and my daughter, she was pushed out and she landed on her back. My daughter was sick as well. She was in a wheelchair, and that wheelchair had paralyzed her. She was always in pain. My daughter, she passed away in 2016. My wife was falling apart, and then as for me, I started to do 1 + 1, and I was now thinking, was it that Sandawana that I went to get from that Sangoma, the oil that was making me to have all of these bad lucks, me losing my children? Was the Sandawana the one that had given me good luck at work? There was something that was not quite adding up, and I could not understand what was happening. Then my wife, she went to church. When my wife went to church, she came back to me, and my heart, I nearly collapsed when my wife was talking to me. So she went to this other prophetic church. Whilst she was in church, that was when there was someone that prophesied and told my wife that there was someone that had a Sandawana. This person that had a Sandawana had something to do with the things that were happening in our lives. So this prophet did not see me, but just saw the Sandawana and told my wife about this. When she told me after she had returned back from church, I nearly collapsed because I was the one all along that had been using this Sandawana, but I could not tell her the truth. I kept on thinking and thinking about it. So now I am only left with only one son. He is my everything. And last week I received a funny phone call from the wife. They were in the apartment where they are staying because now I moved out of Joburg because I've since retired. I'm staying somewhere I can't mention the place by name. So my son, the story that got him in hospital is that he was standing on a chair. He was fixing a light bulb in their bedroom. He fell, and he just fell, a simple fall from a chair, but then he hit his head so hard and he has not woken up. As we are speaking right now, he has been in the hospital for a week on a machine, and I don't know where to find that man from Midrand. I did not even save his phone number, and it's a long time. I don't even have that same SIM card that I was using many years ago, and the phone, it is long gone. It is an old phone. There was no way that I was going to keep it with me. So this is where I am right now. I drove to Midrand from the province where I am staying currently. I tried to drive around trying to remember, but that house, the one that I think was the one where I went to do the rituals, when I drove around that place, it does not look the same because now they are doing laundry business. I even tried to ask about a Malawian guy who used to assist people, and they said no, we don't know anything. So this is where I am. I am on pension, and I have a Sandawana, a Tokolo Shim, that is now haunting me, and it has eaten 2 of my children already, and now it is geared up to sacrifice my son. I do not know what I am going to do, because if my son die, what it means is that I won't have any seed that I would leave on this earth. It is something that no parent ever wants. There is no parent who wishes to bury their own children. I wished to be buried by my own children, not the other way around. The pain that I would feel, the pain that my wife will have to go through if it happens that all of our kids, they are dead. I don't know what kind of a pain she will experience. As for me, I know that I would be blaming myself, that you brought this on yourself. What else were you thinking? So if you know anyone that can assist me, I am begging you, please help me. I'll be following through in the comment section. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by one of our dear brother, who is saying that he is looking for a prophet that can assist him. If you know anyone, please come to my inbox on Facebook, and then you share with us your own side of the story. I'll be back with another episode.